Star Wars Starfighter is due for release May of next year to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Star Wars. What a celebration that'll be. But it looks like Tom Cruise has turned up on set and it's helped them with a lightsaber fight. Are we going to see Tom Cruise the Jedi? And also, how does this link to Deadpool and Wolverine? And how does this also link to Stranger Things Season 5? It's all gonna become clear. Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Yes, Star Wars Starfighter, starring Ryan Gosling, is due for release 28th of May of next year. Not that much is known about the film at all right now. It is an original movie in as much as original characters. I say that with a slight bit of suspicion in my voice because I can't help but imagine a cameo or two turning up somewhere along the way. Also, I'm not even sure which timeline it's set on because it's all over the place with timelines right now with Star Wars. But more importantly, I actually don't care. But that's irrelevant because Monsieur Thomas Cruise turned up on set to help film one of the lightsaber fights. But it's not quite what you think. Tom Cruise visited Star Wars Starfighter set and ended up filming a lightsaber duel scene, which isn't Obi-Wan Cruise-Nobi or Darth Cruise. It's very literal. He ended up filming behind the camera. A part of it was shot by Tom. How cool is that? Well, I mean, I love Tom. I'm a big Tom Cruise fan in as much as how he conducts himself and as an actor and a producer, director, and all that kind of jazz. So yeah, you know, not masses of love for Star Wars, admittedly, but Tom Cruise turning up, always a bonus in my eyes. Shawn Levy. Okay. Now things are going to get interesting. Shawn Levy revealed to the New York Times that Tom Cruise visited the set of Star Wars Starfighter in November and ended up filming one of the movie's lightsaber duels. Levy is directing the Ryan Gosling-led Star Wars tentpole. Let's just call it a film. Let's not call it a tentpole, okay? Because all the poles have fallen down on the Star Wars tent as is, which is due for release May 2027. So that name, Shawn Levy, might ring some bells with you. One of them being Deadpool and Wolverine. Another one we'll get to a little bit later on. As recounted by the Times, quote, Tom Cruise was up to his ankles in mud and pond water. He wore a look of great concentration as he stooped over a digital camera, trying to frame the perfect shot. Shawn Levy glanced around in slight disbelief. Maybe a little bit of exaggeration there. Last week, Steven Spielberg was here, Levy told the publication. And now Tom Cruise is wielding a camera, ruining his very nice shoes. Well, the last thing that Tom Cruise can ruin is Star Wars, because Kathleen Kennedy has already done that. The Times continued. Cruise just wanted to watch, he told them, but Levy, setting up a scene involving a lightsaber duel in the water, so we now know there's lightsabers in Star Wars Starfighter, suggested the star jump on one of the cameras, just like a sofa on an Oprah show. Okay, we're stopping that now. But there was Cruise wading into the muddy pond, holding the camera like a pro. Well, that's because Tom is a pro. In actual fact, He is the personification of professionalism. Now, when you see the movie, you'll know that part of it was shot by Tom, Levy added. I mean, how cool is that? I guess that all depends on the editor. Now, here's the bit which really interested me. No disrespect to Tom Cruise. Quote, "There is a breed of movie star and filmmaker that makes it a point of pride to spend all the time and all the money," Levy told The Times about his approach to blockbuster filmmaking. Quote, "As if your creative appetite is so voracious that cost and schedule be damned," which sounds exceedingly irresponsible. "But I'm the guy the studio call when they want someone they know will take their investment seriously," we'll get to that in a moment, "and deliver responsibly." We'll get onto that in a moment. It's not the sexiest way to put it, but I'm a good worker, and I do take pride in that. Now here is Deadpool and Wolverine, a movie which I personally really enjoyed. And you'll notice that it was directed by none other than Shawn Levy. Now these are the movie's financials, and at first look, they look absolutely fantastic. After all, it did $636.7 million at the domestic box office, which within itself is around 20 million more than Superman did worldwide. Sorry, I just have to get that stab into that terrible James Gunn movie. And then internationally, it does an additional $701 million, taking it to a gross worldwide of $1.338 billion. Now, the initially reported budget for this movie was around the 200 million mark. So even if we give 150 for marketing, that's 350. So it had to hit around 700 million to break even. It's done 1.338. So it's made $650 million almost in profit. But wait, there's more. However, because it was filmed in the UK and you got to file tax filings, it ended up having a production cost of $533.7 million, which doesn't sound particularly responsible for me. And even after the deduction of the tax credit that you get in the UK, that's why they come over here and film, it still came to about $429 million. But you had to add marketing to that. Let's say marketing's about another 150 million. I mean, it was hither, dither, and everywhere. So that would take it to about, let's just say $580 million. That would mean that Deadpool Wolverine had to make $1.16 billion at the box office to break even. So it did eke out a profit, but it eked out a profit of a little bit less, about 170 odd million dollars. And when you take 1.4 million, billion, not million, billion at the box office, and you can only eke out 170 million profit, you dodged a bullet right there. So my question is, what's the actual cost of this movie going to truly be when the tax filings come in? At the moment, the projections of the budget are somewhere in the region of $200 to $300 million. And as you can see, The Rise of Skywalker went as high as $600 million. And even though they are using things like volume, which make everything look crap, you gotta think, exactly how much will its final budget truly be? And then the marketing on top, particularly in the 50th anniversary of Star Wars. So you might be saying to yourself, okay, But where does Stranger Things come into this as? Well, let's continue to read the article, shall we? Levy's previous feature directorial effort was Marvel's Deadpool and Wolverine, which earned $1.3 billion in the summer of 2024. Yeah, but we know what happened with that. To become the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time. Surely Disney and Lucasfilm are hoping he can bring the same success to the Star Wars film franchise. Levy is also an executive producer of Stranger Things and directed a few episodes of the show's final season. Oh no. What episode did you direct? Oh no. Oh no.
I don't like girls.
Oh no.
I don't like
Oh no.
I like pretty girls.
Yeah, would you look at that? I found a second will that needs to come out the closet. Anyway, moving on. Now, the reason that I bring Stranger Things into it is because of the Shawn Levy connection. The final season of 8 episodes and not 9 has a reported budget of around $400 to $480 million, making each singular episode cost somewhere in the region of 50 to 60 million. Now, I didn't for 1 second see that at all on the screen. And Shawn Levy is bragging about the irresponsibility of the money being damned. And we've already seen that he's had absolutely spiraling costs in the making of Deadpool and Wolverine, and being an executive producer on Stranger Things, as well as directing in the final season, which has an absolutely exorbitant inflated budget that doesn't in any way, shape or form reflect what we saw on the screen. So you have to ask yourself, what legitimately is going to be the final budget of Star Wars Starfighter? And can this film make a profit? Because with Shawn Levy at controls, it looks like it's going to have to hit over $1 billion. And I don't think any Star Wars movie in current day is doing over $1 billion. But I'd like to know what you guys and gals think in the comments section down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, you take care. Goodbye, Belubo!